The launch happened in the early morning on May 27. The Falcon 9 rocket shot up into the sky, carrying the ARABSAT BADr 8 satellite, at 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time, from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Just a few minutes after the rocket took off, the first part of the Falcon 9 separated from the upper part and started its journey back to Earth. Everyone waited eagerly to hear if the first part had landed well, which would determine if the mission was a success. 8 minutes and 46 seconds later, it happened. SpaceX's drone ship, called Just Read the Instructions, in the Atlantic Ocean, was where the first part was supposed to land. The booster landed perfectly on the drone ship, showing that SpaceX had succeeded again. Veronica Foreman, a representative from SpaceX, proudly said that this was the 195th successful landing for the company. People all over the world watched the live video of the launch and saw how SpaceX was skilled at getting the rocket back safely. However, getting to this point wasn't easy. SpaceX had to deal with bad weather, which had caused them to delay the launch 2 times earlier in the week. But on that night, the weather was better, and they were able to launch successfully. This mission was important for the Falcon 9 rocket's first part because it was its 14th mission. In its previous flights, the first part had been crucial in private astronaut missions, like Inspiration 4 in September 2021 and AX-1 in April 2022. AX-1, which Axiom Space operated, sent 4 people to the International Space Station, where they stayed for about 2 weeks. SpaceX had recently launched Axiom's second mission, AX-2, which showed that they were working together to explore space. Even though the Falcon 9 rocket's first part had flown 14 times in this mission, it didn't set a new record for SpaceX. But it did show that SpaceX was committed to reusing parts of the rocket and making space travel less expensive. The ARABSAT BADr 8 satellite, which weighed about 9,900 pounds, 4,500 kilograms, was the main thing that this mission was carrying. It was going to a special orbit about 22,200 miles, 35,700 kilometers, above the Earth. Once it got to its orbit, which would take 4 to 5 months, BADr 8 would be an important communications center for Central Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. It would provide TV broadcasts and other services to improve connections in the areas served by ARABSAT, which is based in Saudi Arabia. EverydayAstronaut.com said that BADr 8 was made to replace an old satellite called BADr 6, which had been working for 15 years. The new satellite, made by Airbus Defence and Space, had better technology and abilities to meet the growing need for good and fast communication. Also, BADr 8 had an experimental part called Telio, which was made by Airbus, the French space agency Nice, and Safran Data Systems. Telio was meant to test a new kind of technology for sending data using lasers, which could go as fast as 10 gigabits per second. The successful launch of the BADr 8 satellite was another big achievement for SpaceX. They showed again that they could send things into space and bring their rockets back. They were getting closer to their goal of having 200 successful missions. When the BADr 8 satellite was in its orbit, engineers started testing and adjusting its systems. When everything was ready, it would give better communication services to people in Central Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, so they could stay connected like never before. At the same time, SpaceX was getting ready for their next missions. They had many contracts and partnerships lined up. They were going to launch different things, like satellites for global communication networks, missions to study Earth, and even missions to other planets. One of the most exciting upcoming launches was going to be Starship, which was SpaceX's new spaceship for sending people to Mars and other places. Starship had been tested a lot, including some successful flights to very high altitudes. SpaceX was getting ready for the biggest thing yet, a flight around the Earth. When Starship will go around the Earth, it will be a big step towards SpaceX's goal of making humans live on different planets. The spaceship was made to be used many times and could carry a lot of things. It would change the way we explore space and let us do more scientific research and start new colonies. In addition to their big missions, SpaceX was also working on a project called Starlink. They were trying to make a global network of satellites that would give internet access everywhere. They had already launched thousands of satellites to orbit around the Earth. This was helping people in places that didn't have good internet and making the world more connected. Starlink had been successful, and many people were interested in it. SpaceX had gotten lots of orders and partnerships for their internet service. They wanted to have satellites covering the whole world and give fast internet to even the most remote places. As SpaceX kept exploring space, they also worked with other organizations and space agencies. NASA was an important partner. SpaceX had contracts with NASA to bring supplies to the International Space Station, and they were planning to send people to the moon with NASA's Artemis program. SpaceX was also getting more involved in space tourism. The Inspiration 4 mission was a big step, and now more people and companies were working with SpaceX to make more trips to space happen. They were making space travel more normal for everyone. With every successful launch and landing, SpaceX showed that they could do amazing things in space. They had a big vision and always tried new things. Because of them, the space industry was changing, and people were more curious and excited about what we could do in the universe. SpaceX was setting records and pushing technology forward. Their impact on space exploration would be remembered for many years to come. Stay tuned and keep watching our other video on SpaceX to launch first commercial space station in 2025. Subscribe, like and hit the notification bell for more update. And we will see you soon.